Good afternoon. I think we're good. Welcome everybody to our Great Start Community Connections Facebook Live event. This is Jean Favor. I'm a family liaison with the Great Start Collaborative and Family Coalition, and super excited to have Jenice and Melissa here today from Child and Family Services of Northwest Michigan. And they've got a lot of information to offer us today because a lot of good work goes on in Child and Family Services. So if you don't know anything about it, we'll pop the Facebook links probably and the website in the chat so that you can check it out and get some more information. But I want to get started with them, and maybe we can just hear a little bit from you each. Maybe start with Jenice. And my screen, you're on top, and then it's me, and then Melissa. So and I think that's what everybody else is seeing.
All right.
I'll start with Jenice. If you want to tell us maybe a little bit about yourself, what your role is there.
Hi. My name is Jenice Steenweg. I work for Child and Family Services. I started out as a licensing worker, licensing foster homes, and I did that for about 3 years, and I just switched over to marketing. So now I get to promote all of the wonderful things that we do.
Perfect. You know everything there is to know about it then.
Something like that.
Awesome.
It's
Thanks
just
for being here.
amazing
Jenice. And Melissa, how about you?
I do have to say that when someone who knows the job moves into marketing, it makes our life so much easier because she knows what we need before we need it.
Nice.
Um, so I'm Melissa. I am the respite licenser, which is one of our newer programs that we will talk about later. I've been here for almost a year. Before this, I was a GSRP teacher, and I have also been a consultant for Great Start to Quality. So I'm a little familiar with the program and just in a different area.
Wonderful. Thanks for being with us, Melissa. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and let Jenice and Melissa talk about what services they have provide and have for families in the area. And I don't know who wants to start. Maybe we just kind of like a bulleted list of like the topmost. I know there's more. We've already talked about. There's more that we have time to talk about today. But if you can maybe give us I've got a cat who's on my workstation. There we go.
So I'm going to start real quick just to give a little history, and then Jenice is going to give you the list of all of the amazingness that we do. So our agency has been around since 1937. There was a pediatrician who started to see a growing problem and decided to open an agency to help support these kids in families that were being abused and neglected. Currently, we serve over 6,000 individuals through all of our programs, and we offer assistance in over 20 counties in Michigan. So we are quite busy all of the time, and Jenice is going to tell us a little bit about those programs.
Yeah, so our main office is in Traverse City, but we also have our satellite office up in Harbor Springs. So I know this is the Charlevoix, Emmett, and Northern Antrim, so probably those resources are what you guys are wondering about. So we actually have our Safe Haven North program that we have our open house next week for that. It's a safe visits and exchange program for families who have domestic violence. So one parent will drop off upstairs, and then the other one will come downstairs so that the parents don't have to see each other. And then our monitors will monitor the visits between the parent or the non-custodial parent and the kids to make sure that everything is safe. So this is a really cool program that we've had in Traverse City for many years, and we've just got it up and running in Petoskey now. So we're really excited about that.
Is that office in Petoskey or is it in Harbor?
Sorry, it is in Harbor.
Okay.
It's in the Emmett County.
So like the health and
Health
Human
Department
Resources.
building.
Okay.
So yeah, it's right on the border of Petoskey and
Awesome. So you
Harbor
said
Springs.
you're having an open house, so it hasn't started yet. It's a new program for this area.
Yep. So we will have our open house next week, Wednesday. That people can stop by, learn more about the program, and see all the updates that our staff has done to make the space warm and inviting for our families who are there.
Awesome.
So yeah, And along with that, we're also going to be doing a domestic violence walk in the middle of October. So that'll be along the Bear River on October 19th, 16th, 19th. Whatever Saturday that is, the 19th, I believe. So I put some links in the event that had for the registration for that, but we're really excited about it, just to raise awareness of domestic violence and help raise some funds for that as well. So, yeah, and then we also have our foster care and respite, which is our one of our biggest programs, and Melissa can share more about that with you guys.
Yep, I feel like I'm the numbers person today. So, in Michigan, we have just under 10,000 kids that are in foster care. We have just under 100 that we serve in our region. So we work with families to get licensed so that we can place those children in safe homes. We also work with the families to help reunify their kids with them, or provide family or friends or long-term adoption through our agency. Whatever is the best for the child and best for the family. So that's what we're always striving for, is doing what's best. Not what I think is best and what Jenice thinks is best, but what is actually best for the child. Sometimes it's hard not to let our personal feelings get involved, but always what's best. So we have a new program that is almost a year old now, so I don't know if we can call it new anymore. It is our respite program, and what that is it is providing homes for foster families to be able to take a break. We always stress the importance of self-care and making sure that you're taking time for yourself and refill your bucket and your glass and suitcase, whatever term you know. The respite program allows those families to take that break. So those foster children, juvenile justice children, CMH children, whoever, we are facilitating a short-term stay with a family that we know is safe for up to 5 consecutive days. So we have been licensing homes for just short-term foster care. We found that a lot of homes aren't ready to just hop into, I'm going to take on a new child for up to 3 years. This allows them to take a child for a weekend, or we have a couple that do reoccurring. So they go to, it's basically a grandma at that point. We're going to grandma's once a week or once a month for the weekend. So everybody's getting a break and having fun. And it really helps preserve the placement for those kids. And it also is allowing those kids to see that there are so many loving people who care about them in the world. And it's not just their foster family or their biological family. It is, everybody is caring for them. So it's kind of cool. And we've been pretty successful. We've licensed 5 homes this year, which is apparently a lot. And we have over 16 designated respite beds. And we have facilitated over 50 respite placements in this year. So on average, that's once a week. And we didn't even start the program officially on October 1st. So we're facilitating at least one a week. And that's a lot.
That's wonderful. So is the licensing process for that short-term foster care, is it similar to the same for?
It is the exact same. The nice thing is that those families who get licensed for respite, if they decided that they wanted to take full-term placement, they would be eligible to do that. We focus on just giving them short-term. My coworker Bridget just walked in, so Bridget, wait.
Oh, I didn't know we were in a meeting.
No, you're good. So we focus on short-term, but when we have kids who are regularly going to respite, those respite homes are going to be the first ones that we talk to. You already have a relationship with this child. They're not able to stay where they are for whatever reason. We're going to go to those respite homes first. But it is the same process. It takes about 4 to 6 months on average. And really, you just get to hang out with me, and I get to know you, and you do a lot of paperwork. And we just make sure that, everybody is going to be safe around the kids, and that your home is set up for success, and that you have the supports in place to help you through those difficult situations.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a really necessary, helpful program for sure. I imagine you'll see a big increase in longevity for your long-term placements to have that break.
We already have. We have been able to give more breaks, which we've had people say, if you can't help me with a break with this child, then they can't stay here. And so we've already seen that in the first year.
Yeah, definitely a need. Awesome.
And us as parents, sometimes I call my mom and say, if you don't come and get these kids right now,
Yep.
it's the same idea. We joke about it, but really foster parents need those supports also, and we don't always have those. And so it just gives extra people to lean on.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. So foster care, I mean, is kind of what maybe Child and Family Services is known for the most. I don't know if Jenice is frozen on my screen.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. She's moving. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that too, if it's similar to the short-term, the respite care, or...
Sorry, I missed what the question was. My internet had cut out on me.
Yeah, you're frozen for a second. Melissa was talking about the short-term respite, and I was just wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about long-term foster care, because that might be what you're most known for. I don't know what other people think when they hear Child and Family Services.
Yeah, so long-term foster care, we've been doing it since the beginning of our organization, so we've been doing it for a long time. The licensing process for respite and long-term care is the same, but with the long-term, we try and we prepare you to be having these kids in your home for longer term. We make sure that we're sharing all of the resources that we have with you in order to help you succeed at that. And yeah, this respite program has really helped that. And actually, we have a trauma-informed parenting training coming out next week, which is a training that's open to our foster parents, but also to the general public, where you can learn how to work with kids who have experienced trauma and learn some great tips from our wonderful counseling staff.
So you provide trainings too, then?
We do, yep. So we provide QPR training, which is the question, persuade, and refer suicide prevention training. So you can find that on our website, and our trainer will do trainings for groups of 5 or more. So that's something you can contact them if you and a group of friends or coworkers or anyone want to learn about suicide prevention. Allison will come and do a training with you guys as well. And then Karen, one of our therapists, also does some parenting trainings as well. So we're always posting those on our Facebook page, Instagram, and website whenever they're happening. And it'll always let you know if there's a fee, but for the most part, those are free community trainings, because one way that we can prevent children coming into care is having those trainings at the beginning, so that parents have the resources and tools that they need before we have to get involved.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super helpful to have. So the website or the Facebook is the best place to go for staying up to date on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
One thing to remember with the classes that we teach, the trauma-informed parenting, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have trauma or your child has trauma, but what to remember is that everybody experiences trauma. It's how you handle it, and what is trauma to you may not be trauma to someone else. So something that could happen to a little one is having an accident at circle time, and the other kids seen that they had an accident. So for little kids, that's mortifying and that could be traumatic. Like my kids is an example. If that happened to my son, he would not have cared. If it happened to my daughter, she never would have went to school again. So it would not have been traumatic for one, and it would have been trauma for another.
So,
So
yeah, just having that general information about how to, I mean, you're interacting with people all day, every day, and everybody has some sort of background that would be helpful
and
to be
your kids
sensitive
have
to.
friends,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to have drama with a D, not a T, but also trauma. So it's good to be prepared and to learn as much as you can about life. So that trauma informed parenting is really an excellent tool.
What age is that training for? Is it targeted towards all kids
Yeah,
or?
it's all
Okay.
ages. Yep. Yeah, they have a little bit of everything in there for all ages.
They do cover all ages because they don't go based on biological age, they go based on developmental age. So even if you have a 10-year-old, if they've experienced significant trauma, they may developmentally only be 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to handle it differently. Even though we expect them to be 10,
Right.
we can't. Uh, so that's why they do cover all of those ages. In early childhood, um, those my whole master's was around early childhood trauma and how it looks so much different in kids. It can look like ADHD. It can look like that they're completely withdrawn from the situation. They can be so there's so many different things to look for and different ways to handle it.
So, if I'm interested in signing up for those classes, I just go find the links and there's a registration for
Yep.
that.
So I shared the links for the events in this event
Okay.
description, but you can also go to our website, cfsnwmi.org.
Yeah. Yep. Lost her.
Cut out. So cfsnwmi.org. So Child and Family Services of Northwest Michigan.
And I did pop that in the chat here, so that should be connected
Beautiful.
as well. And then if I'm a if okay if thinking about foster care and respite care, so there's different pathways if I am a family who's in need of foster care for my child versus if I'm a family who wants to provide foster care. So do you just do you get referrals for families needing placement for foster care, or do you have?
Yep, those referrals for children needing placement always come through DHS because Child Protection Services, which is very similar to our name, they are the only ones who can legally remove a child. In the court, a judge is the only one who can say that a child can be removed. So from there, if they can't fulfill the need or their caseload is too large, then they send them to our private agencies such as us to help facilitate that. And then those families work with our foster homes, our caseworkers, and we handle everything that DHS would typically handle.
Okay, so it's a similar arrangement, similar setup, just with a different, basically just with a different team that you'd be working with.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of the private agencies is that we have homes across county lines. So DHS can only place in homes in the county that they serve. But since we serve 20 counties, we're able to tailor our homes a little bit more to the kids' needs. Since we might have a home in another county that is better equipped for that child than one that would be in the county that they came from. Which we always try and keep them as close to home as possible so that they can still go to their schools and that visits and stuff can happen. But sometimes that's not possible or not appropriate. So being a private agency, we just have a few more resources to be able to place kids in places where they'll thrive and be able to work towards reunification or whatever other permanency goal they have.
So then
and
that
we
whole
also have programs to support that DHS might not, such as family time coaching, where we're actually helping the parents improve, or helping get kids to visits, or monitoring those visits. So we're able to in behavioral health, so we're able to provide therapy services. Okay. So there's a lot of extra services that can all be under our umbrella versus having to go a bunch of different places.
So then the entirety of that child's placement would be working just directly with Child and Family Services, not.
If we can, yes, but if we can't, then
right.
we facilitate to get them what they need, ensure that they're completing their goals and that everything is what's working.
Wonderful. So, Jenice, you've got somebody.
Oh yeah, this is my son. He decided to come and say hi.
He had a birthday this week.
He did.
Oh my goodness.
Being a working parent means
Happy birthday.
Yeah, there's two of me, yeah.
You two different screens going?
Yeah, and you. Mom, what are you doing? You want to go play?
So sweet. So if you were, so on the other hand, if you wanted to become a family, a foster family, or short-term foster, what's the first starting place for that?
They just reach out to us. They can reach out through our website and do an inquiry. They can sign up online for an orientation, or if they just call the agency, you get connected and we get you going. I can do both full-term and short-term licensing, and some people choose they're going to get licensed for 3 kids, and 2 of those kids will be full-term placement or long-term placement, and then 1 bed will be for respite. So you can do both programs or just one or the other. So we have a lot of options, but they all typically start with our website or by calling us.
Is there like financial support for that for families to go through the licensing process? And
most of the things that are required for licensing are covered. So if you have a private well or septic, you have to have your water and septic tested. We cover that cost. To get fingerprinted, that's almost $100. We cover that cost. The only thing we don't cover is if there's a copay for your doctor, because everybody has to have a medical clearance and a mental health clearance through their doctor. So we don't cover your copay, but we do have options available. If there are people who can't afford things, we can put in requests. We're able to help homes through the process, and so if they need another smoke detector, we can help provide that, or find where they can get it. If they have firearms and they don't have trigger locks, we can connect them with the state police or Project Safe to help get those trigger locks so that it's compliant and safe for children. Because that's a very real thing. So we really do go through everything and make sure every aspect is safe.
So, yeah, I'm sure you said it was a 4 to 6 month process, Melissa. So there's probably a lot of the paperwork. So making sure it's
a lot of paperwork, a lot of talking.
Awesome.
It's not like an interrogation, though. It's building a relationship. And the reason we do it that way is so that we know you and you know us, and then we can support your needs, and we can place a child with you that's going to be the best for your household, and vice versa. If we didn't know you, we would have no idea what type of child or what we thought that you could handle, or you telling us what you could handle. So there's a lot of communication back and forth and trial and error, and we're very real and transparent, and sometimes honesty isn't always what we want to hear, but sometimes it's like, oh, that is just not working, please don't do that again. We just kind of go with it and build those relationships and do what's best.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're doing that. You said you've got 100 children you're supporting right now, and so it's definitely a need. Awesome. Is there anything else? We talked about short-term foster care, the upcoming fundraisers, as well as the open house and those, what did you call it? The safe
haven.
Safe haven. Okay, so for having visits, safe visits up in Harbor. Is there anything else we didn't cover?
No. If you guys are looking to get involved with the work we do at CFS, our Paper Angels program is going to be starting up here soon. So that's our Christmas gifts for all of our kids who are in foster care or who have been adopted. So get back to our communities as well. So just a little plug in there for that. We'll have more information about that on our website and Facebook as we get closer. But
is that like
last
a
year we had we were able to provide gifts for, I believe we had over 300 lists.
Yeah, I think we did over 500 because we do it for refugee families, we do it for adopted families, the DHS partners as well. So,
is it so
they give
Paper
us a list
Angels
and-
like you? Okay, so you get like a you can adopt a family sort of thing, or is it?
yep. Yeah, so you'll get their wish list, and then we have a suggested monetary amount to spend on them, and then you bring it back to us, and we'll get it to those families. So
Awesome. Yeah, it's time to start thinking about that somehow.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I prefer to pretend it's June.
It feels like it might be. Well, thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Jenice, for popping in and telling us about all the good work you're doing. And like Jenice said, she's got a lot of links in the discussion for the event, and there's the website is posted down there as well. So if anybody has any more questions or is looking for more information, check that out. And make sure you send some love out to Child and Family Services, especially for our Paper Angels project. See if we can get more than 500. Beautiful. Thank you all. Thank you for visiting. I don't see any questions in the chat. So I'm going to sign off and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.